It's Friday, March 21st, 2025. Happy spring, and welcome to episode 146 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, a marathon city council meeting. Alameda and the airport come to an understanding. The city takes action against a landlord. Did you feel the earthquake? The latest real estate sales. Spring musical season is upon us. Plenty to do this weekend, and a great way to reduce plastic waste. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story: Tuesday's city council meeting lasted well into the wee hours of Wednesday, and the principal reason wasn't even on the main agenda. The Institute for Local Government has this to say about the consent calendar. Quote, generally non-controversial items that do not require much, if any, discussion. The consent calendar allows decision makers to group such items together under one heading and decide them at one time. End quote. The consent calendar item was a recommendation from the Alameda Sister City Association to begin relationship with a new city. Alameda currently has 4 sister cities, with the latest being Varazze, Italy, a partnership that began in 2019. This time around, the latest city under consideration is Wadi Fokin, an agricultural village of about 1,300 people. What sent the meeting into overtime? Wadi Fokin is located in the occupied West Bank, about 5 miles southwest of Bethlehem. The story stretches back to 2015, when Wadi Fokin's mayor visited Alameda expressing his interest in developing a sister city relationship. In 2017, Alameda appeared ready to go forward when council members pulled support after an Israeli consulate representative emailed a strongly worded protest questioning the relationship's legality. Communications Director Sarah Henry said the city attorney's office researched the issue to determine if the proposed Memorandum of Understanding violated state law and concluded it did not. At this week's meeting, 37 of 50 public speakers voiced support for the proposal. However, approximately 72% of letter writers were opposed. Arguments in favor included the opportunity to foster peace and understanding, develop people-to-people diplomacy, counter misconceptions, and expand cultural connections. Those opposed expressed concerns about anti-Semitism, fear of community division, incompatibility with sister city guidelines, and proponents' ties to the BDS movement to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel. Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft and Vice Mayor Michelle Pryor were in favor, while Councilmembers Tony Daysog and Tracy Jensen were opposed. Councilmember Greg Bowler focused on due diligence, saying, quote, the question is, should the city take formal action without having all of the information before it, end quote. He was concerned that there hadn't been formal outreach to Alamedans nor recent conversations with the highest-ranking officials in Wadi Fokin. Bowler's motion to extend the decision process to allow for more formal engagement with the Alameda community and with Wadi Fokin's council passed 4-1, with Councilmember Daysog opposed. In other business, Lisa Foster, Transportation Planning Manager, and David Parisi from Parametrics shared design concepts for the Fernside Boulevard Traffic Calming and Bikeways project. The project focuses on a 1.3-mile corridor along Fernside Boulevard, aiming to reduce traffic speeds and improve safety and mobility for all users. It includes 2 phases, near-term improvements between Tilden and High Streets expected by 2026, and a long-term corridor project targeted for 2030 pending funding. It was one of the items in the long-term phase that kept 22 people waiting past midnight to express their views, namely, the removal of left turns off Gibbons Drive onto the High Street Bridge. Many argued that eliminating that left turn would scatter drivers through narrow side streets, creating new safety hazards. Side street residents also complained that they had not been notified of the meeting and learned of it through hearsay. Council unanimously endorsed both near and long-term design concepts while requiring completion of a traffic study before approving Gibbons Drive intersection changes. The mayor additionally requested improved neighborhood outreach. Staff will proceed with the traffic study and pursue the final design and funding for the longer-term project. Planning, Building, and Transportation Director Alan Ty presented a settlement agreement between the City of Alameda, the Port of Oakland, and the Citizens League for Airport Safety and Serenity, or CLASS, a Harbor Bay Isle community organization, regarding the Oakland Airport Terminal Modernization and Development Project. More on that in a moment. For full details on Tuesday's marathon meeting, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Now, that agreement. As I just noted, a comprehensive settlement agreement that includes an improved noise management plan was unanimously approved by the Alameda City Council, representatives of CLASS, and the Port of Oakland Board of Port Commissioners. Among the features of the settlement, a new formalized airport noise abatement plan, measures to address congestion on Taxiway Bravo to reduce aircraft overflights on Bay Farm Island, construction noise mitigation, clean air vehicle requirements, a commitment to traffic management to reduce impacts on Alameda streets, enhanced community engagement, including meetings with residents and the City Council before and during key project phases, and for the first time, acknowledgement of the impacts of San Francisco flights on Central Alameda. Citizens League for Airport Safety and Serenity President John Hamilton praised the end result. Quote, "This agreement will go a long way toward addressing the concerns of class and its members. We appreciate the port's willingness to take our concerns seriously, as well as the support of the Alameda City Council throughout the negotiations." End quote. Story and details at alamedapost.com/news. The Prosecution and Public Rights Unit of the Alameda City Attorney's Office has now filed a civil enforcement action against landlord Mingli Wang, alleging repeated and extreme violations of state and local housing laws. The action alleges that Wang engaged in a series of provocative and unlawful acts to pressure tenants to vacate their apartment, then sought to unlawfully retain their deposits and unlawfully extract even more money from them in a series of fabricated legal cases. According to the city attorney's office, alleged acts by Wang include yelling, threatening and harassing tenants, physically attempting to gain unlawful entry, vandalizing tenant property, provoking physical altercations with tenants, unlawfully invading tenants' privacy, filing baseless court cases using falsified legal documents, and violating a court restraining order. Alameda law provides strong court remedies for illegal harassment of tenants. They include civic penalties of up to $10,000 for each separate violation. Penalties are higher when the tenant is over age 62 or disabled. Details on the story, including contact information if you have a housing complaint, can be found at alamedapost.com/news. In other news of interest to renters, the City of Alameda Rent Program has now adopted Rent Control Ordinance Regulation 2501, aimed at ensuring compliance with rent control laws while balancing fairness for both tenant and landlord. The new regulation, effective April 1st, outlines steps for landlords to correct invalid rent increases without facing excessive penalties. Full story and contact information for the Alameda Rent Program at alamedapost.com/news. Something amusing about a small earthquake on St. Patrick's Day being centered in Dublin, even if it is Dublin, California. Although the worst effects were some delays on BART, it's a good reminder that there is a program that can help you make your house ready for the next quake. The Earthquake Brace and Bolt program offers California homeowners money for bolting and bracing your home's foundation in order to limit possible earthquake damage. Details and qualifications can be found at alamedapost.com/news. Time once again to take a look at the latest real estate sales, courtesy of Liz Rush. Busy couple of weeks with 22 homes closing. In an interesting development, a full half of those homes went for under asking price, 8 for over and 3 at listing. Sales ranged from $405,000 to $2.125 million. And a quick glance tells me properties are staying on the market a little longer these days. Check out all the numbers at alamedapost.com/features. Spring means musical time for our high school thespians. Encinal High finishes up their run of the ABBA jukebox musical Mamma Mia this weekend, with shows Friday and Saturday. New contributor Kelly Rogers Flint takes us behind the scenes as Encinal drama continues to grow after the effects of pandemic struck a blow to the program. Take a look, get your tickets at alamedapost.com/features. In addition to Mamma Mia, the usual abundance of events to pick from this weekend, Amanda Laird highlights some of the great ones in her weekly All-Around Alameda column. CarrierCon returns to the Hornet on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the grand opening of the all-new Back 9 of the North Course at Carica. You can tour the course for free and even do a little putting. Plus complimentary beverages from Almanac, St. George, Maker Wine, and Alameda Soda. The latest Alameda Post History Walking Tour, Gold Coast, St. Charles to Caroline, is this Sunday and next Saturday. Also on Sunday, the Alameda Free Library and Alameda Backyard Growers present the Family Seed Starting Workshop. Details in the All-Around Alameda column at alamedapost.com/features. With all the news about plastic in our environment and in our bodies, lots of folks looking for ways to cut down on consumption. Well, what if you could just refill a container instead of buying yet another piece of plastic? That's the idea behind Replenish Marketplace, just opened at 1503 Webster. Get to know this new take on kind of an old idea with Gene Chen's article at alamedapost.com/features. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. You can join us in our effort by heading to alamedapost.com/memberships. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, MSN, YouTube, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, as well as our own subreddit. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 147 of the Alameda Postcast.